we are going to talk about Heriwork. I find Heriwork very interesting because when I was in campus, I wish I wish I had known about it. I don't know when you started it. So we'll talk about Heriwork, and then we will talk about your own personal academic or career journey, which I find very interesting. I've been watching you on LinkedIn. But let's start with Heriwork, or maybe just introduce yourself first of all and tell us what is Heriwork. What do you do at Heriwork?
Okay, thank you so much. So my name is Stephen Mokoro. Just a little bit about my background. I went to Strathmore University on full tuition scholarship, and while there, I had to figure out how to eat. I was very lucky that my brother my guardian was paying for me my rent, but I needed something for my personal upkeep. And my story is much better because some of my friends did not even have something for rent. They did not have, financial support. So except maybe scholarship, full tuition scholarships. And I could see it was very interesting because at that time, in Strathmore, they say, cool kids, right? But I can tell you about 30% on scholarships. And so during lunch break, guys are about 12:30, they go, we leave class, go for lunch. And then you pass by the student center, and then I could see people eating very nice meals, but I knew I could not afford. So I just come to the hostel. If something remained, I can eat. If nothing, I just take water, I go back to class smiling like, all is good. So when I finished college, I said, I wouldn't like anyone to go through the state of lacking. You want to take a meal, but you can't because you don't have the funds. You want maybe to buy yourself something, but you can't. You don't have the funds, right? So that is why I started Heriwork. And the Heriwork comes from the Swahili word heri, like, something good, heri, and then work. So for me, it means dignified work. The idea was like if we can get some people can engage these students in some form of work and then they pay them. Maybe if you get 500 today from maybe a freelance task, you can buy yourself lunch today, tomorrow, and maybe the day after tomorrow. So it's like just dignified work, so that even though you engage me in some work, let it be work that you could do yourself, right? There's work that upholds the student's dignity. So the idea of a little is much when put together. So yes, that is what Heriwork means. And that is how...
Oh my God. Yeah, in fact, my next question was what inspired you, but I think I'm already guessing that it's your personal experience. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing the challenges for scholars on scholarship, because I've seen on TikTok a lot of memes and a lot of jokes about cool kids at Strathmore, and if you are struggling financially, then things might be very different for you, especially with meals and just generally social setup. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I want to know, because I know you already. When did you start Heriwork? And then also tell us about, maybe you can share some milestones or successes you've had so far. We've had a chance to work with you in the past, and I've also been seeing you sharing milestones and successes. So yeah, tell us when you started it, and then please share some of the milestones or successes that you've already achieved.
Thank you. So the idea itself was born in 2023. That's when I thought maybe, we have a mission strategy in Strathmore that I found that people contribute to help students, and I thought I can give my maybe 10,000 every month, but how many can I help? So I decided to do a survey with the University Financial Aid Office. We surveyed students. We sent an anonymous survey. That means like we gave no idea of what we want to do. We just asked the students, those who are on financial aid, some form of financial aid, from partial to full scholarships, like how do they manage to cope? Do they face challenges with financial, and we asked them how do they go about coping, what are some of the tasks they are doing? What do they wish the university could do? It was interesting because many students say that, can the university open up work-study opportunities that come from the industry, because within campus we have help desk, you are either in the help desk or lab assistants, library assistants, but those opportunities are few compared to the number of students who are in need. So what was exciting for me that time when we were doing a survey to inform what solution we should come up with was that the idea came from the students. We not enforce the idea of reaching out to partners in the industry to expand the opportunities available. It came from the students themselves. It started in 2023 as an idea. We did a survey. We went to alumni events trying to talk to alumni if they would be interested. We got about 40 expressions of interest from notable alumni of the Strathmore University, and that was like a proof of concept, sort of like, it looks like people are actually willing to support this. The good thing about it is that as a partner, you get value while you make an impact in a student's life, as opposed to maybe to charity, which is good enough, but wanted the students to gain as the partner also gains something. So that is win-win.
So I want you to share milestones, but actually maybe even before you share milestones, let's push the milestones aside. Following up on what you've just said, we'll talk about milestones, but please elaborate, Stephen, how does this work? So like if I want, and I know some of my friends who are always, they are willing to give like 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 to support a student, explain the whole process. If my friends, or if I want to contribute, if I want to help, and I have say 5,000 Kenya shillings that I want to give so that you help a student, how does that work on the partnership side for people who want to fund? And then how does it work for the students? So for the students who are listening and they want to be part of Heriwork work study, is it work study or like paid work? Yes, speak for these two bucket of people, like people who want to fund and then the students who want to join in to be part of the program. How does it work? How is the process like? How do they reach you? How is the application process like? Talk about for the people sending money, what are the ranges for the money that you welcome for the partners, and also for the students? Is it only Strathmore or are you working with other institutions? So yeah, speak about those two buckets of people.
Thank you. So first of all, for the students, we took an approach of partnering with the university because the struggle to know which students is genuinely in need is something that will take a toll on us. So what we do, we partner with the university, and then the university knows the students who are in need. Like we started with Strathmore University, and that was where we started piloting from. We partner with the University Financial Aid Office. They gave us a list of students that have either expressed the financial needness or are already on some form of scholarship, and they understand perfectly the situations of all their students, right? So it's very easy for us to know genuine cases of financial need, right? So that is how we work. We partner with universities, but just yesterday, we are placing about 10 students with a company, a new partner, they are doing sales. So we stretched our hands to reach out to other universities too, because they wanted like 10 students. That's quite a number of students to place at once. So we have started reaching out to other universities. How you can work with us is one, if you are a student, we have a website. It's called heriwork.com. So it's just heriwork.com. You can just go there. We have contact us. You can just drop us a message. For example, I'm so and so, I'm from this university, we like to partner with you. So and then we reach out to you. You will link us up with your University Financial Aid Office or University Dean of Students, so that we can begin some form of collaboration. We like it that way, so that we know that we are surely working with the students who are most in need and to whom an opportunity means quite something. When it comes to our partners, we have different categories. So we have those who are willing to contribute some funds. Most of those funds go to the student meal card. So we are starting that service of the meal card, where like in Strathmore, that service is already there. What we do, we recharge the student cards. that student card can be, recharged with some money. And then when they go to the cafeteria, they are just able to have a meal, and a meal is quite something for these students. And then we have other cases like rent. Yeah. So there are many students, I've dealt with many students that, somebody does not have anywhere to stay. They have been hopping from a friend to another. You are hosted here for a few weeks. Somebody says, I'm tired. Look for another friend. And I'm very proud to say that one of the students we placed with a certain company, and right now she has found a place for herself in high-rise. She pays her rent, she pays her upkeep, and she even contributed towards part of her fees. So we think that is more sustainable. It also makes the student to gain skills. So paid opportunities for the students who are most in need. And you'll be shocked, these students are very bright. Even by the time they get some form of scholarship, you know that there is a criterion there. So they are very bright students, very capable. All that they need is an opportunity to turn their hard work into some form of financial reward, right? So as a partner, you can decide to donate. We appreciate that, because those donations of any amount, really, the more as you can give, the more you give us, the more students we are able to help. There are students who have school fees arrears. When exams are around the corner, they don't know what they are going to do, right? And I've dealt with those cases. I go around now and start requesting friends, even on LinkedIn, some people like, hey, we have this situation. Can you please help, right? So those donations can go to clear part of their fees. But when it comes to the work opportunities, is because it can be long-term, and you can end up employing these students permanently, and then you get value for I call them impact employers, because you employ for impact, so you get value as you change someone's life. So those are like two ways you can create, or you can give them paid opportunities, part-time work, freelance work, entry roles, graduate roles for those who are graduating, so they can clear their fees or go ahead to change their families. Let me just state one thing, and this has informed one of the partnerships approach we are looking at with the organizations that give us students scholarships. Scholarships are very good, because you study without a lot of strain, especially if it's full scholarship plus some stipend. But you have to also notice that the true impact happens when the student comes out of university and gets an opportunity that will change their life and that of their families. So we are partnering with such kind of organizations to equip these students with the skills they need to thrive in the digital economy. Yeah? So that way, by the time they get out of campus, they have an opportunity, and that then becomes true change. They don't go back to their homes where they become now another bigger problem.
Amazing. And Stephen, okay, so actually, yes, I had forgotten to, and I really like the fact that, because I know there are so many partners or companies who have like some jobs that they might not even need someone full time. Like they might need a student to be managing social media platforms, or they might need some students to run some sales for like 1 week or 2 weeks, and then they pay that student, and that money will mean a lot to the student. So it's incredible. It's really incredible what you are running.
Yeah, it means a lot. I can tell you, I get almost emotional with the messages I get from students. Like you see it, you see the impact. Yeah, it's been a tall order for me, because I've been running purely on my personal expenses. I'm almost exhausting my savings doing this, but that joy, that somebody tells you, Steve, if it were not for you, or for you finding this opportunity, my life would have been. So I love it, and I'm very sure that our partners will feel exactly the same.
For sure. No, that is super interesting. And we worked with one of your students in the past in a project we were running, and they were amazing. Like they were brilliant. You mentioned that you are working with brilliant students. I can attest. Tell us, Stephen, like what kind of, if you were to just summarize or give examples of some of the work that your students get to do, like to do sales, to do social media management. What are some of the other jobs jobs that they get to do,
Exactly.
or at least from your experience so far?
Okay, thank you. Some of them is, we are paid internships, strictly paid internship. We don't do volunteer because volunteer is good for the skills, but we want something more, And so we do strictly paid internships. We also do freelance opportunities. That's like quick tasks. For example, you might have a wedding this weekend, and you think you need extra hands, people to support you with guest registration and whatnot. You can pay a student about maybe 3,000 that day. You know how much that would mean to them? 3,000, and it's almost 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, like seriously, it means real. So it's really any task as long as it's dignified, whether it's 1 hour task or 1 day task or 1 week or a month or for a period of time. So can be freelance tasks, it can be a part-time work, like you have somebody who comes during the day, maybe they shift to evening classes. We have that kind of students who shift to evening classes to work during the day and be able to support themselves. Data annotation for those guys who run machine learning, that data labeling is something very important. Things like research, market research, if you need someone to do some research online research to inform your business strategy. If you need someone to do editing, ghost writing. If you need I have some guys who are very good with graphics. So it really cuts across. We don't really limit to what you can engage students in. Yeah, it's a variety. If you have maybe you think a student can come to your company and support help desk during the weekends, that can be something they can do and earn some income. Yeah. So you also get some value.
Yeah, and I think you are running these companies, Stephen, at the very right time, because I think there is a huge rise in freelance, like it's a gig economy. Like someone just needs something to be done in 1 week, and you don't have to hire someone necessarily. You just need someone quick and someone you can trust to complete the job. And if it's a needy student or like a student who can use some cash, I think the better. So it's really amazing.
Yeah, so no student really should have to choose between their education and survival. When they have something, they have hands, they have intellect that they can convert into business value. They can support your scheduling, they can support your travel arrangement, they can, virtual assistance, translation. There's so much they can do for you. They are bright.
Yeah.
And very ready. Anyway, one thing I can mention, these guys put their hearts in the work. Yeah, it's a quote from Andrew Carnegie, which I love, right? But they truly put their heart in your work.
I think I can attest, and I think you are doing an incredible job as a company, as Heriwork, to also kind of handpick students who can do the job. So the partner will be very pleased. I'm sure the partners can attest that they are pleased with their students. So good job. Talk about the milestones and challenges. You started recently, like you mentioned, in 2023. Highlight some of the milestones that you are proud of, and also mention about the challenges. I think you've already mentioned that you are bootstrapping and you can use an investor who want to invest in the company. So talk about those milestones and challenges.
So on milestones 1, we've been able to place about 10 students. Really, we started in 2023, but we are doing more survey. Like we were trying to assess the viability or the potential, viability of the model, right? And then 2024, remember that I was still at work, so I couldn't fully dedicate. So in August last year is when I moved full time to build the platform and so since then we have placed about 10 students, and now with the 10 the next 10 students we are placing with a certain startup here in Nairobi. That's about 20, and that means so much to me. So another milestone, we have been able to partner with like about five organizations right now who have been supporting in terms of paid work. And we built a platform, a fully functional job posting platform, but we tried to test it for some time. It didn't peak, and we realized that perhaps we are trying to push a product before. I mean, here's the deal: we were more technology focused, like we were carried away by the technology. And we forgot that we need clients, that we need partners, we need impact employers. So we ditched the entire platform, and then we created a very simple form that you just describe maybe what task you want, how many students you want, and then we just get back to you. We have a discussion. That one has made work very easy for us. So those are some of the lessons that we've learned. But also a bigger challenge is this technology needs, for example, we need enough cloud computing power that costs money. Purchasing like AWS license or cloud it can be costly, right? So some of those things we just run away from them until such a time when we can have some financial stability, because when you have speed, the platform is fast. We wanted to deploy some machine learning so that it can match students to opportunities that are posted. But you see, we don't have the financial capability to get a full product team to build. So most of the things I do it myself. So I'm like, most of the things.
Yeah.
Until when challenges is really funding. You see. By the time we have got here, I left employment last year in August, and I put all my everything here. I've been running since then. I'm exhausted financially. So we tried to apply for some grants here and there, but these people need to see big numbers. We are only starting. We have a lot of potential. Our impact is really felt. There are stories here, but I think a lot of grants that we've seen, they need some years of operation. They need some, financial statement. We don't have that yet. We just have the bold idea and the commitment to making a change. So it's been difficult to win some of these very good grants. So we are just taking the bootstrapping side. But we really appreciate somebody taking a leap of faith on what we are trying to do and supporting us.
Yeah, no, totally. And I forgot to mention earlier, Stephen, if you can elaborate on, because I know it's not like you are doing some charitable work by doing your work, but you still, the Heriwork has a way of making money. So what is the business model? And I think you take some commission. Do you take commission from, like, how does that work, business model?
Quite interesting, because definitely we cannot rely on charity. As you've seen how times change fast, can be very tricky. So what we do, we just take a small percentage from what the students like this transaction. If it's freelance quick tasks, we take like about 10%. Platforms like Upwork will take up to 25%. But about 15%, and then it's not perpetual. We are somewhere where we stop. For example, if we place you in a role and then it's now a permanent role, we cannot be taking a cut forever. So we just have some frameworks, but basically is that we take something, just a little for us to be able to run our operations over time. Yeah, and then for partners who, for example, as I mentioned, those scholarship awarding organizations who want their students to be better equipped to transition smoothly from academia into employment or entrepreneurship, they can sponsor their students to join our job readiness program. So that's also how we try to make money. Another interesting that we are piloting right now is called recitation as a service. You see, recitation sessions is when a lecturer gives, a professor gives a lesson. Sometimes some students need extra support, So some universities have those programs, especially for graduate programs, because they are small. So we thought we can actually do this with our bright students, can give those sessions in collaboration with university or lecturers. So and then there are the students who join those programs pay something. So that's already is being piloted, and there's some promise. So we just try to look for every way that the student can make money, but also we take a small cut to survive.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Talk about, Stephen, talk about in an ideal world where everything is perfect. Where do you see Heriwork in the next 3 or 5 years? Assuming you get funding and you are able to meet all your KPIs and all your milestones, where do you see Heriwork?
So in 5 years, we have a goal of facilitating the placement of 10,000 students or young people into employment, some form of employment by 2035. So in 10 years, half of that number is about 5,000 students placed, or at least, or facilitated, because we facilitated to find some form of employment to be able to empower them, and also entrepreneurship. So that's our ambitious goal, our mission impossible, but it's very possible for us with the support of our partners. So in an ideal environment, we are looking at a very good symbiotic kind of relationship with some of the biggest industry people in the industry. Look, for example, if we were today able to train the ChatGPT model, they say that the model was trained in Kenya anyway, but I mean, if we got such a partnership, we could place so many students working to fine-tune these machine learning models, and then they get something more. So I'm looking at a perfect environment, or that works. I'm looking at a situation where Heriwork does not have to beg, or maybe beg is a strong word, but Heriwork does not have to rely on well-wishers to be able to operate. But for sure, in these early stages, we really need that kind of support as we continually try to refine our model. So maybe in 5 years is 5,000. That's about 1,000 students impacted every year. With some good partners, perhaps we'll have had maybe 300 or but it depends. Yeah. So, but the key metric is students impacted, but that is also with good partnership.
Okay. No, great. I wish you all the best with that, Stephen. So as we wind up, because I really wanted us to focus on Heriwork, but I don't think we can close. I'm very interested to hear an elaborate story of your academic and career journey. You mentioned briefly that you studied at Strathmore on a scholarship. So you can use, and I've been seeing amazing milestones on your personal journey. I want to highlight that. So you can use 1 or 2 minutes. Just give us a crash on your academic and your career journey, and maybe, I don't know, lessons, pieces of advice you've learned along the way. Where did you study? What did you study? Where did you work? And then we will close.
So thank you. So I will describe my career progress as God's favor. I've seen God's favor in my life. I went when I was in primary school. At some point, because my brother was my guardian, at some point I got some kind of scholarship to finish my classes. And then after that, I joined high school with the support of my brother, which I appreciate. I came to Strathmore University on scholarship. So I was on full tuition scholarship. And then after I finished Strathmore University, I applied to go to Carnegie Mellon University, which was really a dream university for my graduate school. And I can tell you, I resigned from work not sure whether I was going to get the Carnegie Mellon University scholarship. And I told my friends, you know what? I'm taking this bold move. I know it's crazy, because even my family was like, "Hey man, you are running mad." I say it's crazy, yes, but I want to trust in God that God is going to do this for me. So I resigned. The moment you give the charity letter, resignation letter, it's done. You are not going to say, hey, give it back to me. So So 2 weeks after that, I'm just wondering, oh my God, what did I just do? I used to go to the chapel every day. I say, God, like my prayer was this, my God, please take away the shame that is forthcoming, because I was seeing shame coming where people will laugh at me. I don't have a job. I resigned. I did not have scholarship at the point I resigned. So 2 weeks after that, it was a morning, bright morning. I've gone to the chapel, I've prayed, and then I'm going to work. I had already resigned, so it's 1 month notice. And then I got this scholarship. It's you've now had a full tuition scholarship with work study opportunity, which enabled me to finish graduate school. And then after that, I was doing internship. So we are the COVID-19 graduates from graduate school. I was doing internship. I saw some gentleman with the Dr. Bosun is the current minister of ICT in Nigeria. I saw he had posted something on LinkedIn. I say, I can do this. He didn't respond to me. I replied after 1 week. I say, I can still do this. Have you filled someone? He told me, sorry, I've already filled this, but I have some roles in Nairobi. And he said, let me connect you with the HR. And then I got some assessments I did. And that's how I became a manager. So I moved from a sales intern, which I was doing after graduate school, to an incubation manager. Really God's grace. And then after that, I also got another opportunity at TechnoServe. It really needs a lot of years of experience. I said, no, this is what I love to do. I can do this. I'm going to try it. I spent a whole night to write only my CV and cover letter. So a lesson there, don't just submit an application for heaven's sake. Take time. Yeah, take time, prepare. So it took me a whole night to prepare my CV, which I already had, just to refine it, and to write a cover letter, which I applied to the job with. So at 6 a.m., I went to sleep a little bit. I got that job, and I got it. For 3 weeks, I was hired, and it changed my life. I was able to support we built a house for my parents. And one thing about me, which I can just mention, is that I put other people first. So I gave my 3 productive years. That's from when I became information manager, 2021, 2022, 2023. Those full years I committed completely everything that I was getting to my family. And then 2024, I started settling. So I stayed in a hostel, so that I could move like maybe 95% of my funds to support my siblings, to support family. They try to, to put family together with our siblings. So in 2024, I said, it's my turn. You guys don't talk to me. If you need money, unless you want a loan, which you will pay with interest. So 2024, yeah. And I think that is interesting. Yeah. One thing I maybe say here is that for young people who are going into career, run your own battle. Your friend and yourself, you are 2 different people. The battles you have to fight back at your home are not the same battles that someone else is fighting. Someone might have their parents already have made it, so whatever they get is theirs. But for you, you would have to go back and build a foundation. So don't compare yourself with anyone. I lived in a hostel where I was a manager, 2021, 2022, 2023. Yeah, and now I think it looks nice. Thank you.
No, thank you for highlighting that. I still want to bring someone on how to manage finances, especially after school, and especially when you are not used to handling money. Because unlike you, Steven, I think when I got my first job, I earned some good money, and I remember one day I used to live in a little bed sitter. So when I got my first good money, guess what happened? I moved to a 1-bedroom where literally was where I was spending most of the time in the bedroom, because I used to come home late after work, like 3 p.m. and I just throw my bag and then into the bedroom. I was working on the weekends as well, so I even barely used the sitting room. And I was wondering why. Right now, I'm like, why did I waste money on a 1-bedroom that I actually do not need? But yeah, I thank you for highlighting that sometimes it's okay, and I really like the fact that you mentioned that it's good to keep reminding yourself, never gauge yourself with your colleagues or your peers, because we are all traveling different paths, having started from different places, and so that is important.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't you get some kind of pressure that you don't need. Yeah.
Wow. And well done on helping others. I'm a strong believer in it's kind of counterintuitive, but the more you give, the more you actually get. I don't know, in form of help, in form of opportunities, in form of more doors opening for you. I'm a very strong believer in that. And so it can be burdensome, but I'm happy that you're doing that and keep doing that. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Yes. So, yeah. Anything, Steve, that we forgot to touch on?
I think one thing I can emphasize for sure is that no student should have to choose between their key to success, which is education, and survival, when they can do something for you, when they can support you in some area, right, in exchange for some financial reward to be able to survive. Mine is just really a call to friends who are listening this podcast to come and support us. Go to heriwork.com. Maybe you can add that link on the presentation so that you can check in there and come. Let's work together. I mean, you get value. You get value for the money that you spend while you make a bigger impact. At least everyone, look here, just let me give an example of an ideal situation of a case in Strathmore. A student got a full tuition scholarship. They are waiting for the student in class 2 weeks, no student. Calling back home, they have no fare to come to Strathmore. And you expect they come to Strathmore and they be able to survive. For heaven's sake, how? Guy has tried from Samburu, the dry areas of Samburu. They have made it. They have got this prestigious full tuition scholarship, but they can't afford transport. Would you expect that they afford a meal, they afford accommodation, they afford to look nice? But how about they just give you what they have? Is their hard work, their ambition, their commitment to doing their best for you, and then you reward them. Isn't that really something valuable? So let's come together and do this.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. I'm a strong. And that's why I looked for you, because I think the work you are doing is incredible, and I think many people should just know about what you are doing and come in to support. So hopefully people will chime in and support in whatever.
Yeah, I really appreciate. Honestly, my hands are tied at this point. I've exhausted running for about 6 months without no income. That's really my savings. I've exhausted that, and I was hoping that one of the grants I've applied will come through. You see how situations are going. I really appreciate somebody taking a leap of faith on us and supporting us somehow as we try to gain our footing. And we are seeing a lot of interest. We are seeing a lot of friends coming in to engage our students. As I've said, someone is even taking 10 students at once. It's very, very exciting.
That is incredible. Stephen, we will look for another chance to talk more about your personal story and Heriwork. But for today, let's just end there. And before you go, I ask everyone here to reflect back to the journey you've traveled, and your journey is incredible, super inspiring. When you reflect back, what is one lesson you would highlight? Just one lesson you've learned in life.
Be optimistic. Honestly, be optimistic and don't give up.
I will not dilute what you've said about being optimistic. Let's just end there, Steve. And thank you for creating time to talk about Heriwork. I definitely wish you all the best as you continue empowering students through these opportunities.